Hello everyone, I'm Tolly from Viewfinders Media and welcome to another online photography tutorial. As you've probably been able to figure out in just a few seconds, we're doing an all-white setup today. But I'm not going to lead the tutorial because I'm not a photography expert, I'm more of a video guy. But we do have our in-house expert, the official photographer of Viewfinders Media. Come on in here, man. It's Ivan Watkins. Ivan, how you been, man?
Doing great, Tolly. Glad to be here. Glad to be here.
Glad to have you. Now look, most people out there who are watching think, or maybe some people, that I got to have this big warehouse space, a professional studio. That's the only way I can pull off this very popular all-white backdrop. But as you can see, we're in the Viewfinders Media office. This isn't necessarily a studio, but we're still going to make it work. So tell us about the backdrop and how we're going to make this happen.
All right. For this backdrop here, I decided to use seamless white paper. And the reason for using the seamless white paper was to ensure that we can get an even spread of light, because if you use a sheet, you'll have wrinkles, and wrinkles plus light equals shadows. And so this just gives it a nice clean look.
So the seamless paper gives us that infinity look that we're looking for.
It sure does. And because the key to having a pure white setup is to have even light behind the subject.
All right, now we have to light that paper. So tell us about our soft boxes here. I see we got two on either side, and we have some flags on it. So tell us about the first light placement, why we put the soft boxes here.
Okay, we have two soft boxes, one here and one over here. And so for this soft box over here, it's kind of pointed across the paper to this side. And then this soft box here is pointed to this side. And so you have sort of like a cross lighting effect going on here. And so to get the evenness of light, they're probably at about a 45-degree angle hitting the paper. And what I do is I bring my meter out, because you can make the white background either really, really bright, or you can put no lights on it and it will look gray. But to get just the right amount of brightness, it needs to be about 1/2 of a stop above what your main and fill will be on the person that you're photographing.
So let me stop you right there. Now, one thing that I used to do when I was experimenting, and I thought that if you just blew the background entirely out, it would be perfect, but that's not what you want to do.
No, actually, if you blow the background out, you'll get a really bad milky look in your photographs. It will take on a very washed out look. And so to get pure white, just 1/2 stop over is all that you need.
All right, so once we have our light set up, we want to pull out our light meter and we want to get the reading on the paper.
That's correct. So let's say if I want to photograph you at f5.6 or f11, whatever the case may be, choose one, 5.6 or f11.
5.6.
All right, 5.6. So if I want to capture you at 5.6, then I want to ensure that my paper is at 5.6.5. And the way I do that, I come down one stop for each light. So 5.6 down to 4. So I say 4.6 and 4.6, and the two lights combined will add up to 5.6½.
Okay, so you want to take a reading here and see what we get?
Yeah, we could do that. And so what I'll have you do, Tolly,
and
is...
You're a Sony man with your camera, right?
Oh, I sure am. Everything's Sony.
We're Canon guys, but, you know, it's all about the eye.
So what I'll have you do, Tolly, is I'll place this in the center of the paper behind where my subject will be standing. And go ahead and press the red button on the back of the light. Okay, we're right at 4.7. That's 1/10 away from 4.6, so that's close enough. And so we'll come over here and do this light as well.
Not only can I host, I'm a good stagehand as well. All right, you ready?
I'm ready. That's right there at 4.05, 4.5. So the two lights together, they're really close to that 4.6 mark. And when we fire them together using this receiver, and one thing, when you're metering these lights, make sure that you don't block the light. That's one mistake that a lot of beginners have. If I'm metering this light and I stand right here,
you're blocking that light.
I'm blocking that light
in front of it.
So always be aware to get out of the path of the light that you're trying to meter.
Okay.
So now that we want to meter both lights, I'll kind of get down here out of the way. We go ahead and meter this. All right, so right now we're at 5.6.9. So we're shooting at 5.6. And so you can be a half a stop to a stop over without getting the milky effect on your photograph.
Okay, so as we move forward in the process, you have the flags here. Pretty good do-it-yourself flags. I have to give it to you. You saved yourself some money here. Now, the purpose of the flags.
The purpose of these flags, since these soft boxes are so close to your subject, you want to ensure that none of the light coming directly from the soft box lands on your subject.
Okay.
And so that's why I put these black flags up. It just protects them from being hit with that light.
Okay, so now you're going to meter your subject, who's going to be standing about here.
Yes, we'll meter our subject, which stands here, but another key to this whole setup is if you look at the height of the soft boxes, they come about to the midsection of where the person is standing, of the person's actual height. And that ensures that they get an even spread of light from head to toe behind them.
Okay, all right, gotcha. So not only do we have paper, but we also have a little special flooring here. Since this is a head-to-toe shot, a couple of different textures, if you will. Tell us about the board that we're standing on.
Okay, the flooring that we have is regular white tile flooring. You can pick it up at your local hardware store, usually Home Depot or Lowe's. Costs a little bit over $10 per 4x8 sheet. And what this provides us with is it gives us a little bit of reflective shadowing for the person's feet. Mm-hmm. Although we're doing pure white, we don't want a person to appear as if they're just floating in white space. And the shadows help to ground the person in the picture. And that floor just gives us a subtle amount of shadows for the person's feet.
So the floor literally is the floor.
It's the floor. It sure is.
And if you're not familiar with it, it's not very heavy. It's like very thick construction paper as far as the weight of it. Very thick, but it's not something that you have to worry about as far as it not being portable. You can definitely transport this around with you.
You sure can. And one small detail here is you notice how I have the front sheet overlapping the sheet that's closest to the paper. This ensures that you have a seamless flooring leading right up to the paper.
Yeah, because earlier today when we were getting set up, we accidentally put the back side overlapping the front, and then you could see the edge.
You could see the line, you sure could.
And that's not what you want to do. Okay, tell us a little bit about our lights that we have set up front here.
All right, so this is a 4-light setup in total. Of course, we have the 2 lights lighting the background, and then we have the lights for our subject. So, Tali, let me have you stand right here at this tape.
And again, showing this is not a professional studio. We have it set up on our conference room table here. So anybody can do it.
Yeah, this right here is our main light. So this will provide the main source of illumination for whoever's standing here right now. It happens to be Tali.
Strikingly handsome man.
And then in the back here, this is our fill light. This will be used to fill in our shadows on the subject.
All right, so the proof is going to be in the pudding, but before we snap, we have to get our reading.
We have to do a light reading here. Now again, we set our paper up to be metered at 5.6 and a half, almost f8, and that's because we want our subject to be right at 5.6. I'll go ahead and take a reading here. We're reading right at 5.6.1. And so another thing to make sure of when you're doing a full body shot, you need to make sure that you have the same amount of light from head to toe. If it's too bright up here and too dark down there, then the legs will go dark. And if they're too bright down here, you can actually get a washing out and glowing on the floor, which doesn't match the entire picture.
All right, so we want to be evenly illuminated for the subject.
Evenly lit from top head to toe. So I do one right here beneath the chin, 5.6.1 right here at the abdomen. That's right at 5.6.3. And down here at the feet, 5.6.2. And so we're within 0.2 of an f-stop for how we have the light feathered at Tolly.
And that's a reading that we're comfortable with.
We're comfortable with that.
All right, so now take the picture.
Let's do it.
All right, let me get my pose right. See how I want to look. Is this my good side?
Count of 3, 1, 2, and 3. Let's grab another one. 1, 2, and 3. I'm gonna zoom in just a little bit closer on you. 1, 2, 3. Zoom in real tight here. Just a little bit closer. 1, 2, and 3. Excellent.
All right. So as we see the picture now, this on the screen for everybody, it is evenly illuminated. I might not be the best model in the world, but you kind of get the picture, and that's how you do an all-white setup. Thank you so much for joining us online. We'll have much more with our in-house photography expert, Mr. Ivan Watkins.
Thank you.